Okay, so we are possibly live. All right, so what we are discussing today is chapters 73 all the way through to 95 in the Rhythm of War. So what are your thoughts on this section overall at the moment?
Enjoyed it, yeah. A lot of cool revelations.
Yep. There was
some that actually surprised me as well. Yeah.
Yep. No, there's some good revelations. I kind of picked what was happening with the quote section pretty early. I think it was pretty sort of obvious section. So I'll just read out random stuff I was thinking as we went along with the quote. But yeah, no, it was good. I liked all the lasting integrity bits. And what other sections were in there that were pretty good? I guess we'll get them once we get there. So
yeah.
All right,
so 73 was it back in time?
Yep.
Bentley.
Yep. And what are your thoughts, mate? What do you remember from this one?
Oh.
I can let you know what notes I've taken.
Yeah, you go. Mate. You started off this one. Yeah, I didn't make notes on this one, so.
No, that's all right. So we got Bentley, and she's talking to Ulim, who is not her current spren. So I was a little bit confused for a few minutes here, just wondering what Ulim was, but that's like her void spren inside her inside her heart there. Up. Yep. So he gives her a bit of a history of the Parshmen, and talks a little bit about Odium and what happened in the other wars in the past. And so this is sort of where the plan is hatched to go to Alethica. How do you pronounce that one, mate? What do you
like
say
that?
For the name?
No,
of the
that was good. Yeah, that
was all right.
That was good.
Yeah, all right, sweet.
Actually, look, I say it different a little bit, but yeah, no, that was good. I think I say it differently every time.
Yeah. It's a hard one, isn't it? Alethica.
Yeah.
Alethica or something. Yeah, Alethica maybe. So they decided to go there to intimidate the Parshmen into taking the forms of power. They figure that seeing the humans in all their glory will make them do that.
Because they want them to be scared so that they'll do the advanced forms.
So they'll do the rain dance, let's call it.
Yeah. Bring on the rain.
Yeah. All right, cool. So chapter 74 is the first time we get a quote in this section. All I've written is quote who. So I'm not entirely sure at this point, as you probably gathered by looking at that quote. But
no, I had no idea at this point.
What I was pretty certain of is that it was from someone. So
someone.
I don't know if it happens it might happen in this section. In the event that it doesn't, just remind me about the quotes from the other section if we get to the end of this. And I haven't made a note on that. So all right, so in this one, Venny's trekking around the tower with Relaine. Yep. Who brings some maps to like Kaladin's mum and dad.
Yeah.
My next note is that Kaladin's dad is the worst with an exclamation mark. Just like
yeah. And I still think, who the fuck is Liren every single time he's in it?
Yeah.
And then it's usually when he does something wussy that I'm like, oh yeah, it's dad.
Yeah. It was like Glenn Westcott up to like season 5 of Game of Thrones, and he kept saying, "Who is Stannis Baratheon? Like, who is this guy?"
That's correct.
Yeah, every time. Who's Stannis? What?
Who is Stannis again? Yeah, that's Liren.
Yeah, exactly. But oh man, he's the worst. He's the worst character in the book. Like, I dislike him more than Shallan at the moment. So.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, easy. All right, so what? People are delivering water to Kaladin. Is that right in this
Yeah.
chapter as well?
Yeah.
And is Kaladin stuck outside? Like they're like not sure if they
I
should
don't know.
let him
He
or
went
not.
out, but yeah,
Like from
he
their
ends up getting
perspective.
found by. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't
And
remember
then
where we are at the end of this chapter.
well, my last note on this chapter is Kaladin's dad is the worst. I wrote it twice in
Yeah.
the space of 5 notes. That's how strongly I feel about this at the moment.
Yeah.
And then we had an illustration, I think, at the end of this one.
Yeah. It was some type of spren as always. Peak spren.
Peak spren.
Yeah, which one of the people with Charlene and Adeline in Shadesmere had a peak spren.
Okay. And so what are those ratings do? Are they the stone ones
I think
or
it's
something?
the stone one. That's I think it's that woman with the stone. Yeah. Stone Watcher or whatever they're called.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So yeah, I wasn't sure at this point. We're up to 75 now. I was thinking maybe at this point, is the quote from another shard somewhere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I was probably along that line too.
Yeah, or if it was Taravangian, maybe. I think that was the last time it was. That's the last time I think I thought it was Taravangian.
Right.
I got rid of that.
Yeah.
All right. So lots of we're at lasting integrity here, I believe, and lots of the Deadeye Spren are gathering along the coast.
Yeah. Adeline's watching them and going up on the wall. And what do you think about lasting integrity and all this walking on the walls or whatever's going on?
Yeah, it just reminds me. Remember those art pictures of where like the perspectives are wrong?
Precisely. Yeah, that's exactly what I kind of pictured. Yeah, like weird steps going up backwards and people walking up them, and then the same thing happening on another corner. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know if my picture was at all what was meant to be pictured, but that's what I pictured.
Well, that's what I pictured as well. So
yeah,
that's
good.
100% strike rate. So I'm sure plenty of other people think that as well.
Yeah.
All right. So Shallon's still not out yet. Still Vale and Radiant doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
And they're walking around looking for Risteres.
Mm-hmm.
So
hatching plans.
Yeah, trying to think of a way for him to sort of reveal himself. And there's that one guy that like lives, and he only comes out in
the park or something.
Days, yeah.
So they go there, and
also she questions some people from Nalthus, which is interesting. That's Warbreaker land.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
And they mentioned that that's where Azuri is from as well.
And who's Azuri again? I remember thinking at that point.
Yeah, so she hasn't been in this book.
Oh, that's Azuri's that lady again. Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's the other main character from Warbreaker. So the main character.
I think I've asked you who Azuri is every time they mention Azuri.
Who's Stannis Baratheon?
Yeah, but I meant to know this way.
Yeah.
Was she not in it at the very start?
I don't think she was at the start. Nah, I don't.
In Shadesmere or something. Okay.
No. At the end of the last one, like she stayed in Shadesmere when the rest of them.
That's what I keep thinking.
Out. Yeah. All right. So then they have a long conversation with Patton about how he's been lying.
This is when he admits to being lying, and he was talking to Wit.
Yes, that's correct.
With the box.
With the cube, yeah. And so Wit's being spied on, so that's how everyone knows what's going on. It's not because anyone's directly spying on them. Then they get sort of distracted because that 16 person leaves the house. So then, she shuts the other people out of her head and goes to kill Risteres. But it's not him. That number 16 person's not him, apparently.
Yeah.
And then there was like a Deadeye cryptic bit.
Yep. Who appeared in a...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was interested to know what you thought about this.
Yeah, so the Dead-Eye Cryptic, and I've just written in the next chapter, so I don't know what I meant. So it might just finish with there's a Dead-Eye Cryptic watching her or something.
Yeah, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, which ties back into a later chapter for sure.
Yeah.
But that was something
which I actually
at that point, and then I was like, okay, well that'll mean something. I don't know what, but
yeah. This next chapter, 76, was called Harmony, and did you get excited about that?
Yeah, I did. It didn't turn out there was much going on in terms of any sort of harmony stuff in there.
Harmony,
yeah. So at this point in time, I thought maybe it was honor themselves as the quotes were coming in.
Yeah.
And then I wrote or another herald. So pretty much.
So there you go.
I'm narrowing my focus early on.
Yeah.
Here. All right. So Rabinal and Navani are talking about wine. So that's a whole thing.
They love their wine in this book, don't they?
Yeah. And it's weird how it's all the different colors and stuff. I still don't know which ones are stronger than the others. I feel like purple could be the strongest.
Kaladin's always drinking orange, and I think that's because it's got none in it.
Yeah. I bet you Liren drinks the weakest one possible, or none at all.
And I think what's his name drinks soft wine now too. The drug addict.
Yeah, Teft.
Fire dust or whatever it is.
Yeah, Mr. Moss.
Yeah,
so
Fire Moss.
So this is a bit interesting, actually. Seeing this chapter was called Harmony, they actually do talk a little bit about where humans arrive from. So maybe all the people here are from Mistborn world.
That's what you thought at the beginning of this book, and I still like to think that that's the case. They came from somewhere that destroyed their world with magic.
Yeah. So I hope they are from Mistborn, but I hope they didn't get.
Was that this chapter where they talked about that? Where they talked about how they came, they still were all the people were all screwed up from like burnt from the world being on fire.
Yeah. So I was like, what did I write here? So Rabinal says she wasn't here when the humans arrived, but her grandmother was. And she said they had soot on their faces from the world they left behind. So
that was it. Yeah.
That happens in Mistborn, obviously, in the very first
with the ash.
book. It's ash clouds everywhere. So what I'm hoping they got there on spaceships and not via Shadesmere. I think it's it's too obvious that they got there through Shadesmere. I think that's probably what's going to happen. But because
we know that there's going to be a future Mistborn.
Exactly, because there's going to be a space type Mistborn. But that wouldn't make sense that they had soot on their faces either, because Mistborn doesn't have the ash anymore. That got
fixed the ash, unless it came back.
Yeah, maybe it comes back in one of the other books. That could be a thing too.
Yeah.
So then this is the bit where Rabinal and Navani bring Stormlight and Voidlight together, which could be a harmony type thing as well.
Yep.
They both
this is when they sing the song.
Singing together. I called it the Dragon Ball fused dance.
I didn't go there, but that's correct.
That's exactly what I imagined. You know what I mean? So then what do we have happen here? So if Rabinal says, she says, if we can figure what killed Adon, then we have the power over the gods. And Navani realizes this was in Gavilar's stone or thing, I think.
Yeah.
Or that's what he was trying to do. So then Rabinal kind of breaks the deal. Navani goes, "Oh, you said if we figured this out, I could go," and she just kind of says, "Don't be so trusting next time," which was funny.
But then she says, "But I do love you."
Yeah, thanks heaps.
But you are the best.
Yeah,
but fuck you.
That means me a lot. That means a lot. All right, so chapter 77 in the past, I think.
Yep. Another back in time.
Yep. So Venli's at the feast and she's sort of wandering around with Ullum looking for the plans that are left by someone.
Yeah.
So I think it's Axendweth.
Yeah, we still don't know who that is, but
yeah. So is she the person that gave Venli the spren in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The one that came to her in the.
Yeah. All right, cool. I thought that. I put that in my notes, but I wasn't 100%. So Nail turns up to rescue Venli, sort of thing. He, I like Nail. Nail's a great character. I wish there was more Nail in there. So he can see Ullum as well, and Ullum seems a bit scared of him.
Yep.
So Nail wonders how Ullum got back. And mentions that Ishar is the only connections between the world. So Ishar is the other bondsmith that Dalinar needs to seek out to learn how to be a bondsmith. So he's the other herald, I believe.
Yeah.
Nail thinks Gavalor is to blame for Ullum being back and tells Venli to kill him and tells her about Seth being in the building.
Yeah, which is cool because I really enjoyed that kind of. Even though it sort of happens a bit different, I think, in a couple more chapters. But just how they ended up meeting the assassin in white and that all being organised.
Yeah. And she agrees to start the war. So, Oh, yeah, and Axendwith, it said, she's left the planet as well. So, is she from somewhere else? Is she a Mistborn person or something like that? It actually said that explicitly in there. So, So after I finish reading the book, cool. maybe I'll Google who she is, so as not to.
No, don't want to accidentally.
No, it's
get yourself a spoiler.
It's impossible not to Google something and not get a spoiler that goes.
Yeah, if you haven't finished the book, yeah.
All right,
then we got a picture of are these cryptic spren? No, these are ink spren.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's the same one that.
Ink spren, and their swords can just float along beside them, which I really liked.
Yeah, and that's the one that Yasna's got, I think.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so then chapter 78 is I've just put a note about the Deadeye Cryptic again. So I'm not sure if it was actually in there, if I was just reminding myself that it happened.
I think maybe you were just doing that. Yeah,
all right, sweet. So Wit, this is where it's revealed Wit's been helping Patton. And if you remember, Patton went to see Wit before they all left as well. Patton is talking to Wit. Wit is being spied on by Mraize. When she calls Mraize, he says there's variations of light weaving in the Cosmere as well. Did you notice that one? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
And so also in this chapter, Adeline's meeting with that female lawyer that talks like Yoda.
Yeah. It does. It is like Yoda.
Yeah.
Something is.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Yeah, they talk about Azure as well. Like they wonder who's because there's no humans left that Shallan hasn't interrogated.
Yes.
And the last human that left was Azure, so she was in lasting integrity.
Yeah, which is where she said she was going. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
At the end of Oathbringer.
Right.
All right. So the High Judge turns up and is a human / herald.
So / Kellic.
Yeah. So that's
which I actually thought when I first started reading this entire series in Way of Kings, I thought after reading the prologue and then starting to read more, Kaladin was going to be Kellic. It's obviously completely wrong, but this was in the first few pages that I thought that.
Oh yeah. So you
and Kellic turning up, he was going to be him reborn, and maybe he didn't Like the heralds don't remember who they are straight away.
Gotcha.
But this is like obviously when I just started reading and I got rid of that notion, but it just reminded me of it when he turned up. I was like, oh, that's that guy that I thought was Kaladin for a little bit of the book.
Yeah, you might not be too far wrong. Like I feel like all the main radiants are going to end up being the new heralds or something.
Yeah,
so it might not be
maybe
him specifically, but I don't think you're too wrong on that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it's revealed that Moraes has sent her to kill the herald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's opened the box with the knife in it now? Did that happen in that chapter? I might be getting ahead.
No, it might have. All right.
When she talks to him.
If I haven't made a note of it happening in the next chapter, like maybe, yeah, it happened there. But maybe I reckon it's just kind of like this is the start of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because most of this chapter is her talking to Patton about what he's been saying to Wit, and then it's Adeline with the lawyer, and then there is a big section where she talks to Murray. So I reckon that might be later.
Yeah.
If not, yes, she opens a box and it has a knife in it. But I imagine the cube being tiny. Like I didn't imagine it being a large cube. So I'm like, how big is this knife? Is it like a toothpick? Like what is happening here? I just imagine.
And it sounded like it was only in a little bit of the cube too.
Yeah, and it's like if the knife is that small, just wear it as a brooch. Like just put it on your clothes. Like, Anyway.
Yeah.
I imagine the cube being much smaller than my iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you could just hide it in a box.
Yeah, but not even in the whole box. Like it sounded like it was in a compartment in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why is your box only why does it have a wall on it that is half the size of your suitcase?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. All right.
All right. Well, this chapter, did you enjoyed this quote? I'm sure.
Yeah. So the blade of Jezerin, is that? I think that is this old on a blade.
Yeah, the knight. Oh, he's an old one.
I think so.
That what's his name has now, Mail or whatever his name is.
Moash. Yeah.
Moash. Yeah.
I think so. So this is where I wondered if it was Rasteres doing the quotes or Kalek.
Yeah.
Who are one and the same, but I was just like...
Who are the same, yeah.
Yeah. So it's where I kind of thought it was there. So, all right. Then, all right, so we've got Relaine doing the washing. And watched by the Void's friend.
Yeah.
So Kaladin's mum wants to get Kaladin a map.
Yeah.
And for it was weird. There was a bit of a fourth warmth moment in this one. Just a random sentence for Relaine thinking to himself about how mate form didn't work out as expected.
Yeah. I meant to make a note about that. Yeah, it didn't go well for poor old Relaine.
What does that even mean? That is weird.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't seem necessary for any part of the story, but
yeah, because no more than that. But also Venli, yeah, we'll get there in a minute anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how you made a note of that because I forgot about that bit.
Yeah. All right. So, what happens? David shows up and Kaladin's asleep and won't wake up. And I'm just wondering, did we even know Kaladin was back in the tower up until now?
Yeah, I guess. Have we had a Kaladin chapter yet?
No, but so there was no scene of him coming back in or somebody going in.
No, but was there that scene where he was like having the ultimate nightmare, and that hasn't happened yet?
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, see, I don't understand how. I guess he just ran into the storm and then flew in another window. He wouldn't have flown. Well, maybe he had his gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was all right with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, David turns up and tells them that Kaladin is dying.
Yeah. And Liren's like, nah, just either bring him here or let him die.
Yeah. Yeah, Liren didn't really care at all.
No, that was the worst. It's just so
okay,
boring.
Here we go.
Just like, take some action.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is now the chapter I was just thinking about with Kaladin getting pummeled by the wind and having a bad time.
Yeah.
So and Wit somehow comes.
Yeah, well, just real quick, the quote says they put Jezreel in a gemstone. Is Jezreel like at the end of the other book, Moash stabs a herald with one of these knives and puts the herald into a gemstone. So I don't know if that is who Jezreel is or not. And it says
I guess it was.
That could be Moash.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Because Moash did have a special knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So we got what have we got? We got Kaladin walking around in the wind,
getting tortured by the wind, and Wit comes.
Yeah, and he draws in color. Did you notice that?
Yep, I did, and I was ready for you to notice that.
Yeah. So that's cool. Wit tells him it's a dream, and then he tells him a story about a dragon and a dog, which I was hoping there was going to be
wanting to become a dragon. Yeah, and then he says there's no point to this. There's no point to this story, but I'm going to tell you it. And then there is a point to the story.
Yeah, and I was hoping the point was going to be a much bigger payoff, if I'm honest with you.
Just like Kaladin, just fucking stop whinging is basically the point of the story. Stop thinking it didn't become awesome.
Yeah. So,
But it was all right.
It was okay. It
was a weird little fable for Wit to tell.
Yeah, I did enjoy how it had animals that weren't on Rosha. I was liking that.
And we got to sort of see Kaladin be surprised at what a dog was, etc. And Wit mentioning that dogs are normal.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that's the end of that. But it doesn't expressly say that he gets back inside in that chapter.
No. It just says the nightmare's going to get fucking worse.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And Kaladin's like, all right. And back he goes. He has some soup. They love it. Here's the thing. The obsession with stew.
Yeah. And it never sounds like something... Go on.
I mean, I get it. I like when they were first having their little Bridgeforce stew parties. And maybe I still do like it. And I just want to mock it anyway.
Yeah,
But them and their stew. It's always the best stew they've ever tasted every single time.
Yeah, and it always sounds like crap as well. Like, it actually always sounds terrible. Like, it's not... Like, Brandon Sanderson's a great writer, but he could never write for, like, a food magazine. It's just like... What are you talking about? Like, it doesn't sound good at all. Like, there's no talk of caramelization on any of the elements before it goes into the pot, and it's like it's never salty. There's never any, like, fucking
put everything you've got in the pot.
Yeah. It always just reminds me of, like, a grey kind of tough meat in, like, a tepid water that's not really turned into a stew. Like, it doesn't remind me of soup even.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just like, not that good. Not that good. Better off just not having it. But especially when you've got, like, giant crabs everywhere. So it's just like, you could just eat crab all the time, and that would be fucking awesome. Crazy.
Yeah. All right, so chapter 81 is Back in Time. Back in time.
Yeah, so this is actually like Ashoni's running around with Relaine and Food, which I like the writing here. I enjoyed imagining them running around and just jumping over the places in the Shattered Plains there.
Over the gaps.
I missed the Shattered Plains, if I'm honest with you. That was
that was a good part of the early books.
Yeah, the battles in the Shadow Plains with, like, against the war form when pretty much only people had like shard plate and shard blades.
Yeah,
that was
and the ladders,
good stuff. Yeah. All right, so what happens here? We realise that Ashoni's had Gavilar killed because he was trying to bring back the fused.
So how did that all kind of happen? Like, because Venley was going to get the assassin in white.
Yep.
For a different reason, and then she must have told Ashoni about it, and Ashoni was like,
"Do it,
we'll do it, but for this reason." Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like the assassin in white was doing stuff for Taravangian. Like that's 100% confirmed. So I don't know how much power they even had over what was happening. Yeah. So it's kind of like the Spren or the Void Spren has sort of tricked them a bit, I think.
So this next chapter is what I was thinking of when they talked to Mraize.
Yeah. And Venley has other Void Spren she wants people to bond with, but she hasn't. Does she mention it to Ashoni? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so. She's got them in a little pile of gems.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she tells Ashoni about it.
Yeah, and she's like, is she getting the farmer to keep bits of the gem, or is that later? That might be later, where she's like,
I think that's later.
Amassing her pile of jewels.
Yeah.
All right, so the quote here is just talking about 7,000 years, just saying I've been stuck here for 7,000 years or something. Yeah.
How long he's been going for? Yeah.
All right, so Shallan's obviously angry with Mraize. Mraize gets them to open the cube. There is a dagger inside. Yeah, and even in my notes I've written, I imagine the cube being much smaller, and I put that in italics because I was just like it can't even be as big as a pen. I'm holding a pen now. That would be a massive cube to carry around.
No, but I was picturing the gem.
If you've got a hand, you must have a. Yeah, you must have a handle on the dagger too, right?
No, I was picturing it big when. Yeah, the cube's massive.
Yeah, it turns out the cube is like a whole payphone telephone box that you have to carry around. She's like Doctor Who. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly what I was just about to say.
Yeah. All right, so Mraize gives a good speech about Kalak, like not being fit for duty. Which I enjoyed. I always love Mraize chapters. They're always fun. So he gives Shallan a plan. Because she's just like, I can't do it. And he's just like, if only there was a magic power where you could make yourself look like someone else. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's really like sarcastic about it.
Yeah, he hates Shallan as much as I do.
Yeah. That was good. So the plan is to like become Kalak to like trick everyone when she says Adelin's the best.
Yeah.
Which clearly, what I wrote here is, and obviously we'll get to what actually happens. But like, if she did do that and the honest friend found out about it, that would be it.
Yeah.
For their grand plan.
Nah, it wouldn't
it's
be
hardly the most wasn't an honorable thing to be doing, and Adelin would have hated it as well.
Yeah. But as with most set up plans, something different happens.
Yes,
is the way it usually goes. All right, so Adeline agrees to trial by witness as well in this chapter. So, all right, so chapter 83. The quote is, "I remember only so few of these centuries." So
have you decided who it is yet by this point?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty certain it was actually up until right at this moment, I was pretty certain of who it was, but now I'm thinking maybe it's a herald we haven't met yet. I was actually, because I thought maybe the plan was going to go through and they were going to get to stab him, and Viserys was going to be trapped in the knife. I thought that that's who it would be. But actually now I haven't reviewed who I thought it was going to be since that plan didn't go off. So I could be wrong anyway. I started this conversation off pretty cocky, But I knew what was going on with that. All right, so Venley hears the rhythm of cultivation, which is interesting.
Yep.
So I've got here. Venley wants to know why they watch Ravenel. So what's watching Ravenel? Is something watching her? Or?
I don't know.
that might be a weird. That might be a weird autocorrect here. Wants to know why they watch. What could watch be? No, don't know. Oh well, don't know. That's fine. So we've got a bit of Leshway in this one. Who says that there's still some work left once they finish the plots. So I guess it didn't take the best notes in this chapter. It turns out, wasn't really.
No, I was
swiping on my
kind of flipping
here.
through. Yeah. Well, Venley has knows that if they can free Lift will be able to heal Kaladin. Is that this chapter?
It is. Yes, that's my second to last note. So that part at least I got right. Prior to that note, I wrote Relaine and Kaladin's dad are talking, and Kaladin's dad is the worst.
Oh yeah, that was the end. Yeah, doesn't want to rescue him.
No. So then they free Lift, and then I think there's a picture of said dagger.
Yep. Yes, yeah. Cool. And they free Lift by creating a bit of a distraction, and Venley uses their rock powers.
Yeah. Is that her only power? Is that what she's got going on? Is she a rock melter?
Yeah, she can melt the rock. Yeah.
But she's different to the other ones that can do it, right?
Yeah, because they just go inside the rock, or she actually moves the rock.
Yeah. And I wonder if it's all rock or just Urithiru where they are.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cool. So can you read the quote at the start of chapter 84 for me?
Midius once told me we could use investiture to enhance our minds, our memories, so we wouldn't forget so much.
Yeah. Who's Midius?
I don't know. Is it a herald?
It has to be another herald, right? I mean, this is definitely a herald of sorts that's talking. But I don't know which. I've decided I don't know which one in particular.
Oh, well, I'm still the whole way thinking the same. From a last chapter, I still think it's the same thing that I think it is.
Yeah. What, Calic or?
Calic, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because he talks about being in lasting integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like this person's talking about how they're trapped inside the knife.
No, because he don't. Nah, we'll see. There's more quotes coming.
Okay. All right, so in this chapter, Ravenel has Warlight. I've just written, what is Warlight? When did that happen?
No, Warlight was what they made when they sung the light together.
Yeah.
No, that's
I thought
Warlight.
That's how they made it, but they're just like, okay, that's called Warlight now. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, no, Ravenel. I think it was in that other chapter. Ravenel's like, I declare this to be Warlight.
Yeah. Okay.
Straight away, as soon as it's there.
Yeah.
Ravenel likes to declare things because she also declares Navani to be mistress of science or something. We'll get to it.
Yeah. She does. She gives her a fancy title.
Yeah, like mistress of the magic, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah. All right. So, and Navani's setting traps and stuff in the hall, like she's Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
Yeah, building whatever they're called, fabrials that look different to what they are, and I like, exactly like Home Alone. I picture like a flamethrower.
Yeah, heaps of mini cars that people slip on, and that swings from the roof.
Yeah. And magnets, you must be happy about that. You were talking about magnets many, many pages ago.
I was, wasn't I? I was.
Yeah.
I was all over that one.
When they were talking about opposites.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Navani's like, bring me magnets.
Yeah. Yeah, I shall prove this to you now.
And then I even especially like when she was like, bring me the magnets. And then someone walks in the door a bit later and Navani's like, did you bring my magnets? And Ravenel goes, not the magnets.
Yeah.
Because Ravenel's turned back up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I quite enjoyed the Navani chapters, if I'm honest.
They've gotten much better.
Yeah, she annoys me not at all at the moment, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so she gives her a herald knife that's made of aluminium as well.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Oh, I missed the part that it was made of aluminium.
Yeah. Oh, they called it the other thing. Rail cast
whatever.
or something.
Yeah, I missed that too, but that's cool.
Yeah. And I love how aluminium's like the most precious thing in the world to Brandon Sanderson. It's like cans of drink are made out of aluminium.
And like, foil.
This is not hard. Like in Mistborn, it was like the craziest thing ever as well that no one could ever get hold of. It's super expensive. It's just like you cook your dinner on it and then you throw it away.
Yeah, because Mistborn, was that the one that you get? It just like makes you awesome, like the slow down time. What it was?
I reckon it stops other people's Mistborn stuff from working.
Oh, what was the one that they had that like really made them just slowed the time down? I think for you.
Yeah, so it's
been a long time since I've read Mistborn.
Yeah, I reckon that one's a made up metal. I don't think that's a real.
Oh right, yeah,
like duralium or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's so it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Yeah. All right.
So here we get our first mention of Rhythm of War.
Yes. So that obviously alludes to the quotes in the previous chapter. Yes. So that was by Navani and Ravenel.
What are they calling it? The Rhythm of War again? Is it what their song is?
It's what their song is, but I think it's also their notes combined into a book.
Right.
So yeah, there's that. What else happened? There's some other stuff that happened in this chapter, actually, mate. Just give me a sec. Yes. So because she has that knife, there's like a split gemstone.
Oh yeah, and it makes it go way harder or something.
Yeah. So a small movement with the gemstone makes the knife go crazy. So it's like I guess it's a magical lever sort of thing that makes it much more powerful. So that'll be a thing that'll happen, I think.
Yeah.
Like Navani will make something out of that. And she also gets the sand from White Sand to measure the amount of stormlight.
The amount of power it takes or something, yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, so the magic in the sun is the same as storm. So the magic in the sun in Taldane is the same as the stormlight on Roshar.
Yeah, and Ravenel also talks more about the dagger and saying we use these for collecting the souls of the heralds, or that was our plan. We've only taken a single one so far.
So that'd be the one Moash got.
Yeah, which we're assuming is Jezreel or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. I didn't make that. I kind of pictured that happened like thousands of years ago, but it makes more sense that it happened now.
Yeah. It was like one of the it might have even been in the I was going to say the prologue, but that's the start. The epilogue, I think. Of Oathbringer. Either that or we said the ideals. It was one of those two things that happened like right at the end.
And at the end of this chapter, Navani is once more praised by Ravenel as the greatest scholar of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, because she knew that magnets, the opposite of magnets, could go together perfectly. In fact, that's the only way. That's the only way they work.
That is magnet.
Yeah.
All right, this is a Dabbard chapter.
Yeah.
85.
The quote was.
Why would I want to remember?
Yeah, and I've got here Rysteri's trapped inside the knife is where these quotes are coming from. That was my theory at this point in time. So the David chapter.
Look, there's one thing to say about David. He's Forrest Gump.
That's awesome.
Is my note on this chat. Like, I don't make many notes because I like to keep it sort of fresh, but this one I had to say. Like, the whole time I was reading, I was like, Forrest Gump. That's stupid perfect. Is as stupid does.
It's perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. Lieutenant Dame.
Yeah, because he hates his stupid voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Lieutenant
Stormblast. Oh, that's awesome.
And they're all and they get angry at him because he didn't talk.
Yeah, and Stormblast is injured as well, just like Lieutenant Dane.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Kaladin.
Yeah. Yeah, we seamlessly switched from like Die Hard to Home Alone to Forrest Gump. It's all the major hits. That's great.
Because it's exactly like that. Like, he talks about how he knew that his voice made him sound idiotic.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't talk.
Yeah. No, it's exactly. He's written the same way. It's perfect.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know, what actually does happen in this chapter now?
Lift heals Kaladin and Teth.
Yeah.
And I just wrote it was a good chapter. I thought it was...
it
was fine. It was good. A little bit of exploration around David. So let's just hope he doesn't become the main person that saves the whole world in this.
Or he just goes running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lift's cool. I really like Lift.
Yeah, no, she's a good character.
She could be annoying, but it is a testament to Brandon Sanderson's writing that she's not.
Yeah, exactly. She's just not in it enough to be super annoying.
To reach annoying level. Yeah.
Yeah, if she was in it all the time, then...
because she's a bit annoying when she talks about food.
Yeah, we get it. We understand. And you've also now revealed that that's where you get the magic from. So we'll take it as a given that you're eating. It's all good. Good.
And they also heal Teft, which is cool.
Yeah. So Teft is good to go. All right, so
and Teft, is this when he wakes up and thinks he's been on the drugs again?
Yeah. So you just have to wonder how wasted Teft was getting all the time. If that's just what he reckons. It's like you've been in for 3 weeks. He's like, fuck.
Let my boys down. I did it again.
Yeah, I thought I was just on the moss.
And it's funny when he thinks that, and then he's like, thank God I wasn't on the moss. But then he's like, in that same sort of paragraph, he's like, I would really like some moss right now.
Yeah. It's like in Family Guy when it's like Matt Damon's writing. He goes, Goodwill Hunting by Matt Damon. And Ben Affleck just goes, sitting on the couch, stoned. He goes, can you put my name on that as well? He goes, you haven't done anything. You just sat here and smoked pot the whole time. He's like, looks around, like, does that Family Guy eye side to side thing.
Yeah.
He goes, do we have any more pot?
That's great.
All right.
So now we're back in time. Song of the Mornings.
Okay.
Only 1.5 years ago now.
Yeah. So we're getting really close to the end of this book. I think we're like high 80% through it. So
yeah,
I think the next section. Usually, what he does is the last section is just all action. Everyone, no one gets their own chapters or.
Yeah, our next review will be the end of the book, I think.
Yeah. All right, so Venli is plotting with Ullum for when the storm comes around, and she's got a farmer collecting chipped off bits of gems to trap the spren in.
Yep.
And it turns out Gavalor was the one that gave Ashoni the Void Sphere.
Mm-hmm. Do we find that in this chapter?
Yeah. I think so. Pretty specific note if I've just made that up somehow.
No. I sort of have trouble remembering the Shoney and Venli stuff from previous books.
Yeah. Oh, none of this stuff happened in the previous book. It's kind of all
That's
new.
what I mean, and that's why I find it confusing, because we're going back in time, and I'm like, am I meant to know all this already, kind of thing? But obviously, I'm not. He's revealing it. But
yeah, no, that's all brand new. So they were kind of just the bad guys in the first book. You didn't really know what was going on with them.
Did they have points of view?
Ashoni did.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
but that was all just about her getting war form and stuff, and it was pretty late in the book. Like, she didn't have it until the book was a decent amount through before you started getting her POVs.
Right. Okay. Because she was always sort of in the chapter, like, as the leader of the fighting Parshendi.
Yeah.
In the shard plate. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But this one starts with, maybe if I remembered my life, I'd be capable of being confident like I once was. Maybe I'd stop facilitating when even the most simple of decisions is presented to me.
Yeah. So this is what made me think it was Kalek, because it's kind of the same way that Mraize described him.
Yeah, and also how he's being a bit weird with the trial.
Yeah. Yeah.
How he's not like making any, like, he doesn't really care.
No, the trial, all the trial bits are pretty annoying. They don't go for too long though. So
no, yeah, they were just long enough. It was kind of cool. What happens that's good there. They sort of bait Adeline a fair bit to saying things to getting angry and saying things that they can get him with.
Yeah.
And Blended stands up against him. His lawyer goes against him.
Yeah, so I was going to say the first witness is the caregiver for the Deadeyes. The second is his own lawyer. And then the third
exactly what Westcott would do to me if this situation ever happened.
Perhaps. I just kept thinking of Arrested Development, where they go to, like, my name is Judge. That
guy. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
because he is like Judge.
Call the next witness. Yeah, Judge Reinhold. So it's like, call the next witness. So it's like Frankie the Puppet.
Yeah, that's good. I wish I thought of
that. What is it like? It was the band singing in that as well. It's like trial time with Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cool. So, and the third is Notum, that Spren that's been, like, banned from there. So, and he screams or says that honor is not dead, and that he lives in the hearts of men.
And that's Adeline's mate, right? The one that was getting stabbed to bits.
Yeah. And then the crowd goes crazy in many ways. So there's some for it, and there's some against it. Which gets a bit more explicit. I did make a note of it here, so it must have been obvious, but I didn't really think of it more till later chapters that they were kind of split down the middle on that.
Yeah.
And Shallon steals some Stormlight from the big Stormlight bank thing by pretending to fall off a tree or something.
That was weird. So there was a big cup of Stormlight, but then there was also gemstones all around the wall.
Yeah.
That's how you pictured it too.
Yes. I kind of pictured it as like a column of Stormlight in the middle of the room.
Yeah, not a cup, but I had to go back because I was like, all of a sudden they was talking about the gemstones, but I was like, wasn't there a big, like, vat of it?
Yeah, so she had a gemstone on her as well, so maybe
she swapped it.
That. Yeah. All right. So Venley, chapter 88.
Mm-hmm.
And Venley has trapped some Stormspren.
Yep.
She Ashoni's poised to go with her into the storm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening?
They see a big giant chasm fiend.
That's right. Yeah.
That I wrote.
Yeah. And is it Ashoni or Venley that gets followed home? Ashoni gets followed home by a Spren as a result of this.
Yeah.
Thus beating Venley again is what I've written.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, chapter 89. I'm not sure what the quote is, but I'm just like, this has to be a herald now.
Yeah. Instead, I think if I were to remember my life in detail, I would become even worse, paralyzed by my terrible actions. I would not like to remember all the people I've failed.
Yeah. Yeah. So then there was like a quote about Braze in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Navani's just working away. Science.
Yeah. So
and Ravenel's joining in the fun as well.
Yeah, they're doing some wordplay stuff. And this is where
they talk about off-worlds, and Navani's like another planet.
Yeah. And then Ravenel hummed absently a confirmation. Navani felt she could tell what this rhythm meant. I wanted to go for years. Yeah, I wanted to go for years, Ravenel said. Visit the place myself. Unfortunately, I learned that it wasn't possible. I'm trapped in this system. My soul is bound to Braze. Call it damnation. Blah, blah, blah. Planet further out.
Yeah.
So that was
Which is cool because Ravenel wants to leave to go to a different realm, but she can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But humans can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, which is awesome. All right. Yep. So this is where they pretty much confirm.
Oh yeah, and they talk about that. There's a storm in Shadesmere that means you can't pass it or something.
Oh yeah.
Or it's hard to pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I
you can't travel to Braze in the physical realm. It would take a really long time. So that's space.
Yeah.
They sent Heavenly ones to try it once, and they died because there was no air.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. You picture them flying along, healing themselves with Stormlight until it runs out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kick-ass, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that would work on the White Sand world because the sun is what charges up.
Right.
The magic. Not the storms, which are obviously earthbound or Roshar bound. So it's really cool. So she gives her a fancy music presentation with like the drums on the side of the table. And gives her a fancy
title. She notices the sand.
Yep.
Is that when she notices the sand's been affected by the vibrations too?
Yeah. Yeah. So the sand gets affected by the rhythms, by the stormlight. So all magic's the same, which is going to be cool when all this shit comes together. So she also talks to the tower, who is acting
finally like again.
Yeah, who's acting like Tobias from Arrested Development when he gets the hair transplant.
Yeah.
Come on over to Uncle Teabag. George Michael just goes, don't call yourself that.
I love all the lines in that Arrested Development whenever they say, don't call it that.
Yeah.
Operation Hot Brother. They're not calling it that.
No, Hot Mother.
1 hour later, Operation Hot Brother.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to think of a better name. They couldn't. And an hour later, Operation Hot Mother began. All right.
Yeah. So the tower's like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And she wants to bond. She wants to bond Rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tower.
I've written a bit about that sand thing as well. So I've written different lights. The different lights were the same as vibrations, like sound.
Mm-hmm.
But it also said the previous chapter that sound didn't have an opposite. So
yeah,
I'm not sure how that worked entirely, but she wants Relaine to bond the tower, as you said.
Yeah. And the tower's up for it, but she's going to die.
Yeah. Gonna die.
Die.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind if the tower died, to be honest. There's some parts of the story where I'm just like, I hope Kaladin's dad dies.
Hurry up and die.
But I also don't want to spend chapters mourning the loss of Kaladin's dad. So it's like, if he dies, I'll be disappointed that I have to listen to other people talk about it, but
yeah. Bittersweet.
All right. Bittersweet indeed. All right. So chapter 90. I'm like, this has to be a herald.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go on.
Regardless, I write now, because I know they are coming for me. They got Jezreel. They'll inevitably come for me, even here in this honest Ben stronghold. So it's still definitely Calic in my mind. He knows, because he knew that someone was going to come for him within the... Well, I'm going ahead of here, but he's suspecting that they're coming for him eventually. And he's just writing these words. Are you there? Hello?
So I think I just lost myself there. Trying to make a run to get my charger. Hey mate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think we're still live. I don't think we lost anything. So I'm going to get you to. How far through that chapter did you get?
I went in. No, I didn't. I'd only read the quote and then mused upon it, and then realized you were gone.
Yeah, we'll go deep on the chapter. I've got to run. I'm still going to be here, and I'm going to get my charger, which is I hit the back button when I bumped my swag on the way out of the room. So go for it, mate. Talk about the chapter. I'm listening. I'm going to mute myself so that I don't make noise.
Yeah, I was just saying with the quote, I feel it's definitely Calic, just waiting to be attacked by whoever he knows. He's a paranoid. So in this chapter, Adeline is once more fronting up to his trial.
Yep.
And they accuse him of wanting that his dad Dalinar was going to kill the Stormfather, or almost killed him at that time when he did. And they're all upset about that.
Yeah, pretty dramatic.
Which I think is a bit nasty. Yeah, and Adeline's like, oh, come on, he was doing his best.
Yeah. And what else is going on? So they bring out the Deadeye Cryptic in this one as well, I reckon.
Oh, I thought that might have happened.
Yeah, not the same Maya, one, but like the
one they saw on the plains, or they saw in Shadesmere somewhere.
Yeah, going. This one's recent. How do you explain this one?
Yeah. Oh, and they met him at the crossroads or something. Yeah.
And Adeline sort of realizes he can't win again.
Yeah.
Adeline and Shalyn are close to getting to the fourth warmth. Shalyn wants to do.
Hang on, no, this is when I said to you, you have to remind me, because this is when Formless comes, right?
Yeah.
So that made this chapter bearable in that prior to that, with your fourth warmth comment, there were far too many mentions of Shalyn's naked back.
Yeah, it's like...
I don't know if you noticed that. Like, they talked about her naked back, and then a bit later he said naked spine. And I was like, Stop it, Sanderson.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
Stop trying to, like, tantalize me with naked back. It's not working.
Yeah, stop trying to titillate me.
I'm just actually looking to see if I can actually read the quotes out. Yeah, Adeline rested his arm across her bare back. And then later, he rubbed the back of it. No, that's not it.
Because bare back means something else in common slang. So anyway.
Yeah, maybe that's what he was. That's as risque as Sanderson gets.
Yeah.
He also, like, runs her hand up her naked spine, and I was like, lots of mentions of naked back here.
Yeah.
But then it was this chapter was the chapter was good, but this little part of the chapter was definitely redeemed when Formless came. That was written really well.
It was, wasn't it? I was just like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, and we've been
because all of a sudden it was just Formless talking.
Yeah, something Formless said. It was like, oh wow, because
and like really, no, Bale thought, and Shalyn's like, what? I changed my mind. I'm going to side with the Radiant. I'm not going to go. Oh yeah, because Shalyn's like, it's always that rule of 2 against 3.
Yeah.
So then Bale's like, I'm not on your side this time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like Formless. That's sick.
Yeah, that was sick. It was turns out it was really short lived. But it was awesome. That particular last bit of that chapter, that paragraph. Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's good.
Yeah, and that was actually where we were going to stop reading, and I was like, ooh, that could be perfect. But I'm also glad we kept going.
Yeah, it would have been quite a few days without reading anything if we hadn't have kept going. So, all right.
This chapter 91.
Yep.
The quote is, "And so I'll die. Yes, die. If you're reading this and wondering what went wrong, why my soul evaporated soon after being claimed by the gemstone in your knife, then I name you idiot for playing with powers you only presume to understand."
Boom.
So that was, I must have not read that properly last time, because it's my soul.
Yep.
So it's Jezreel.
Yep. Perhaps.
Oh, I was thinking it was Kalik.
Yeah, but now it might be that they're talking to each other as well.
Yeah.
So we're still not.
Yeah, we're not sure.
I think narrow it down to one of those two though for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. So
here's where
Teft wants some moss, which makes me want some moss.
Yeah, I really enjoy how he hates moss, but he loves it. I think that is written really well. Sanderson tries to write about addictions and ailments quite a lot. He does this one quite well.
Yeah. No, as a teetotaling Christian, he loves to write about things he's never allowed to have.
Yeah. And so they're just hanging out. The boys are back.
Yeah, but Kaladin's also talking about if he should give up or not.
Yeah.
And then Teft tells him a story about his parents. I don't remember what happens in that actually. Is it like he dobs him in or something? Because
they were a cult. They were a cult, they were in a cult to try to bring back the
Radiance. No,
the Radiance, to bring back the heralds. They were going to try to bring back this. Yeah, do that thing.
Yeah.
And he dobbed him in, and he didn't think that his mum would get killed, but she did, or she'd already died in some sort of weird sacrifice thing.
Yeah.
And then the dad got killed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 6'9", and he thought it was high enough to avoid execution. His mother was already dead by then. But his father got killed by the police.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yep. That was good.
And then Teft was happy because he realizes that he's a good guy, and his friend's happy about it too.
Yeah.
Then Durana, and they're eating soup, which isn't as good as stew, obviously.
No.
If Brandon's calling it soup, times are tough.
Yeah. Do they call it soup or broth, or is there like a broth as well?
He uses the word soup, and I think Lift has a taste of it and thinks it's shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I don't reckon anyone can fucking cook in this whole book.
What about in the feast? What about in the often return to Gavilar feast? Are they eating good food then? I can't remember.
No, but they don't talk about it. They don't talk about what food they're eating.
Yeah, so George R. R.
They eat a lot of
Martin
curries
loves
and stuff.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin knows how to talk about food.
Yeah, I bet you he does.
Oh yeah,
I bet you he
does. So
much
of A Song of Ice and Fire is consumed with just food descriptions.
Yeah, he's never going to finish that series, is he? Like that's never happened.
No, and even when he does write the next book, people aren't even going to care. Like I will read it, but it's not going to be. He's a victim of his own success, probably, but victim's probably the wrong word because he's done what he's happy.
Yeah. Because there's how many years they go before it's finished? 2?
2, I think. Right? The Winds of Winter and the Song of Spring or something.
Yeah. And so Winds of Winter has been getting written for the past 12 years. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Since before the show started.
That is ridiculous. That is crazy. There's no way that guy's going to live another 12 years. Have you seen him?
No, people were worried about that before
COVID.
When he was still COVID. Well, that'd be dramatic. That would be something.
Yeah, fucking hell. That is crazy. He's never going to finish that. That's mad.
No. Finish it in the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. And they lost they couldn't do it without his books.
No,
the TV show
nailed it.
Garbage as soon as his books were over.
As soon as it went past the books, yeah. It really did. Nothing happened in those last seasons that was anything like what happened prior.
No, and it was too. It was so quick.
That was the problem. They were rushing through it.
Yeah, because they had they couldn't. He probably just said, "This is what happens," and they're just that's what they made it from his notes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
unless it's going to be revealed that it's completely different, and that might be his ultimate tactic.
Yeah. Even if it's not his ultimate tactic, he's tested what his original tactic was.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even care. I didn't mind the overall arc and all that kind of stuff. I didn't mind what actually happened, but it was just it was just too quick. It didn't explain anything because there was it took him half an episode to get all the way across the planet and stuff. There was it was bizarre.
Yeah, that's what happened. People started just being in the right place all the time, and
yeah. All right. So what happened?
92.
Yeah. So
I'll read you the quote.
Releases... Yeah, go on. Do it.
Yeah. The bond is what keeps us alive. You sever that, and we will slowly decompose into ordinary souls with no valid connections to the physical or spiritual realms. Capture one of us with your knives, and you'll be left with a spren in a jar. And you won't be left with a spren in a jar, foolish ones. You'll be left with a being that eventually fades away into the beyond. So I don't know what the beyond is.
No. Just death, right? I think.
See, I missed that last one, that it was him getting, he used the word my. I thought this was being written by someone that hadn't been stabbed.
Yeah. No, I think it's someone that has been stabbed, or someone that has been stabbed talking to someone else about.
Yeah.
Or, maybe stabbed and released, and then they wrote a book after it or something. All right. So
this chapter.
Yeah, Ravenel.
Bentley and Ravenel.
She releases her from her duties. And says something about there's a bunch of Parshendi somewhere, right?
Yeah,
I don't remember them fleeing.
No, so what happened was Ravenel's told Venley they found some. I don't remember them fleeing either, but they're talking about Venley's mum.
Okay.
So Venley's always on about how her mum got drowned in the chasms.
Yep.
Because she left with a group that were against Stormform.
Yeah.
And then the storm happened, and she assumed they all got drowned in the chasms. But now Ravenel's told her that they've just seen a group of wandering Parshendi, who's now Venley thinks it's her mum, so she's run off to go see if that's the case.
Yeah. That makes sense. I didn't read that properly. I thought it was a bunch of Parshendi that have fled from the tower.
No, they fled.
That makes way more sense. Yeah.
So that's cool. Pretty much that chapter.
Yeah. I like how Ravenel and Leshway lie to each other, and they both know they're lying to each other, but have that whole, that whole thing set up.
And I like how Leshway hates Ravenel and thinks she's nuts, and Ravenel likes Leshway.
Yeah. And there was a mail or a note or something. Do you remember that bit? Because I had no idea what that meant. I read it a couple of times.
What was it? A note?
A note or a letter or something.
Oh, yeah. The letter was the same, the thing we just talked about.
Oh, yeah. All right, sweet.
So, Ravenel, she just hands her a report from a human scout, and it's written in human female writing, and it says, there's a group of Parshendi, and they've got some kids and stuff. And Bentley reads it. And then Ravenel's like, did some of your kind leave before the coming of the storm? And she says, yep, but we thought they drowned.
Okay.
And then she just runs out.
Yeah. So that is how I messed it up. I thought it was the current storm, not the storm.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, chapter 93.
Yep. I felt it happen to Jezreel. You would think you captured him, but our God is splintered, our opaque severed. He faded over the weeks and now is gone. Beyond your touch at long last. I would welcome the same, but I do not. I fear you. That's when I definitely thought it was Kalik.
Yeah, I think it is Kalik, and I think Jezreel is the guy that Moash killed at the end of the other book.
Yeah.
They said they only got one herald. That's a herald we've seen get killed. I think it's probably, Kalik talking about Jezreel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even though it mentions him getting stabbed, which I'm still going back to, I guess he's writing from the future, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So,
and obviously, we're now up to Formless on her way to do exactly that.
Yes. Yep. And it seems like Vale's the only one that can speak to her to start with.
Yeah, and Adeline's looking at her going, Who are you right now? You don't look like Vale.
Yeah.
And Vale's talking, and that's weird. Radiant's locked up.
Yeah. But then pretty quickly, Radiant breaks out and says she's the one that killed Iali.
Yeah, which was cool. That was a good little surprise.
Yeah. And that was so Shallan didn't have to. So Formless goes in the house and Vale appears apart from her.
Yeah.
I think.
It's like the time stopped kind of thing. I don't know. I didn't know how to sort of wonder what was happening there. I ended up going with time froze.
Yeah. And they go through a bit of back and forth, but she gives her all of her memories and talents. sort of thing to Formless because
and Patton also tries to stop. Yeah, Patton also tries to stop Charlene and talks about wit a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't actually stop her. Poor old Patton.
Yeah, he's not having a good time of it at the moment.
No. But yeah, this was cool. That whole thing of Vale sort of just disintegrating into the Never Never.
Yeah. Yeah, like a Force ghost.
Yeah, I did picture it like that, and I enjoyed it, I must admit.
Yeah.
I was where Brandon wanted me to be during all that.
Yeah, yeah. And what else happens?
Where Brandon wanted me to be. I'm here, Brandon. I had empathy.
Yeah.
I wasn't attuned to indifference.
Yeah. I hum the rhythm of approval.
Yes. And so then she comes across Calic.
Yes.
Is that in this chapter too?
It is, but I think they also mentioned that she had a different cryptic when she was a kid and broke her oath.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I knew we were skimming over something and I only just read it.
Yeah.
So she was the one who killed her Spren, which is clearly the one that was just in the trial, I believe.
Yeah, I assume so. I mean, they say that one's recent, so I mean, if time's different, then that could be the case that it's recent.
Well, yeah, recent to them could be in the last 20 years or however, like, not even that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the cryptic, and that's the one she saw, which I'd forgotten about, actually. I was too focused on it being the one in the trial that I forgot about. She saw the weird cryptic Spren in the garden.
Well, I think it's the same Spren.
I think they're the one. It's all the same.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so because she's absorbed Vale, she won't kill Calic.
And but he thinks he's expecting it when she walks in. He's like, "Here you are."
Yeah. He thought it was going to be Adeline that was going to do
it. And then the Spren, we find out that they're kind of like got him as a prisoner almost.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's time for you to take your medicine and go to bed. I pictured them drugging him. I don't know if that happened.
I imagine
I picture it a bit like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I actually pictured it like Happy Gilmore when Ben Stiller, when she goes,
I will put you to sleep.
Yeah. I would like a glass of warm milk. I wouldn't. You go to sleep. All right, we'll put you to sleep.
I'll give you a warm. Could I trouble you for a glass of warm milk? You could trouble me for a glass of shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the hell up. Now you go to sleep.
Warm glass of shut the hell up. Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what that that bit was like.
Yeah, awesome. So then they also go, young Spren want to fight, but the old do not.
Yeah. So that was, I guess, fairly predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Like every book ever.
Yeah. All right, sweet. So chapter 94.
Yeah, I'll read the thing because I'm getting into it now.
Yep.
Nevertheless, I'm writing answers for you here because something glimmers deep within me, a fragment of a memory of what I once was. I was there when Bardo Mishram was captured. I know the truth of the Radiance, the Recreants, and the Nahil Spren.
Yeah.
Is Nahil, what's Nahil again?
So that's not another world or anything, as far as I know. No. I've written this down as something to take note of, but I don't know what a Nahil Spren is.
Right. I wasn't sure if that was the same word you mentioned earlier was the Warbreaker one, but it's not. You would know.
No, that's Nalthus.
Right. And what was Barado Mishram again? It's been mentioned a few times.
Yeah, so she's one of the, like, a pretty major Spren. She might be I'm actually going to Google this, just so I get it right.
Oh, I wouldn't. Have you already Googled it?
No, I'm typing it right now. You can't stop me.
No, I mean, have you already done it so you know that you're not spoiling yourself?
Yeah. So she's one of the unmade and ancient spren
okay.
of Odium. Like, so there's her and like Sargenant, I think.
Yeah, that one that was in the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like not the same thing, but they're like each other.
Yeah.
So, when I tried to type Sargenant, it just came up with a bunch of Indian people's profiles on Facebook. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Barado Mishram sounds a bit like that too, though, by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's sort of a little precursor into what we're going to like, because immediately when you read this little, we call them quotes, I know the truth of the radiance, the recreants. And I'm like, what's the truth of the recreants? Well, let's go.
Yeah. That's
so Adeline goes to his trial, and Sakaya is there. And it's like, I had to put Kellic to sleep. Kellic's having a tough time, and your wife tried to kill him. I know your wife tried to interfere, and which Adeline seems to enjoy.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised about. I would think he'd be furious about that. But anyway.
Yeah, it's like, thanks, heaps. And she's also not there, so it's like, cool. So she tried to interfere, and then she ran away. Nice one. Appreciate that.
And then they're like, so now Kellic's all disturbed, and he's not going to come, and so I'm going to do it. And here's the legislation that says I'm allowed to do it. He just looks at his lawyer of betrayal, and she says, this is all good.
Yeah.
And then they bring, of course, we all knew it was going to happen. They bring out Mara.
Yeah, Maya.
And Maya, sorry. And also what I knew would have happened kind of happened, like, but not in the way that I thought it would happen. I knew she'd eventually talk and obviously help him. But it was cool that she said the Spren were complicit's the wrong word. The Spren were a part of it. They knew what they were also a part of the recreants, in that they said we're going to have to do this.
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was good.
Yeah.
Good scene. Good to hear Maya yelling. I still think he's going to bond her, as I said, way back.
I think you're right now.
Yeah.
A part of me halfway through that chapter was like, if I was writing a note, I would have wrote Williams was right.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It might be too obvious now, but it might not happen.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. Yeah, that was it. I wrote Adeline was kind of successful because we.
Yep. Hang on, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Something glitched out of it there.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is our last chapter.
Yep. Beautiful. All right, so flashback to Venli in battle, and she's in storm form.
Mm-hmm. And she's not very good at it.
No. And there's a
she
human
just shot lightning all over the place.
Yeah. Apparently quite a lot of them are doing that. So, and then there was a human with a spear that saves her.
Yep, doesn't kill her. When she says, "Don't kill me," I'm just a scientist or something. Whatever she says, a scholar.
Yeah.
And he leaves her, and then part of her is like, "What an idiot," but then part of her is kind of like, "That was nice."
And what else is happening?
She crawls inside a little tunnel to get away from the storm, but then the tunnel gets ripped away. And she realizes that she's a coward.
Yeah, a long exploration of her being a coward. So
so what's happened to Ulam at this point? Ulam isn't there anymore, and I was wondering, did I miss something? Am I meant to remember something from Oathbringer?
No, we just don't know yet. We just don't know.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, mate.
And that was it.
That concludes our little chat today. So, where do you want to go to for the next one?
I think we finish
book 5 starting, or
no? I think this will be it now. This will be we read to the end.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm on page 1034, and there is only about 1,200 pages in my book. Before we get to the weird section of his appendix, which is I don't think we need to do that. I'll read it. It's more of a glossary.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
like something
cover that. I'll definitely
something you can refer to. Actually, I should be referring to this probably throughout the book.
Yeah,
it's got all like the medals.
Yeah. Some good
it's like Mistborn.
Yeah, some good stuff in there at the back.
It's got all the different types of stones. Yeah, probably you could read it at the beginning.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe I should have read this at the start. Yeah. But I'll read this at the end. But I don't think we need to go through. Well, no, we can analyze this maybe too.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm. Let's go to the end of the book and then we'll make an assessment if we want to do a bit there. Like we can do that via text message rather than on the.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good.
Sweet. All right, mate. Well, thank you, and that was good.
And thank you. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was a long one.
Technical difficulties as well. That was good.
If you, we might have to do a bit of work on that bit.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Because I left a few times as well, like to try to like see if it was me.
Yeah. No, it was me, mate, for sure.
All right, William. I'll talk to you soon.
Mate. Cheers.
You too.
Bye.